that I paid to live in.
You don't do shit. You didn't pay prorated rent. You don't live here anymore. Your name's off the lease. I paid.
You're so stupid. Okay, I'm just gonna walk by you. Excuse me.
Get the fuck in your room and don't ever fucking leave.
Holy shit. You're gonna what?
I want to hit you so fucking bad.
Okay.
You're a piece of shit.
Okay.
And you're a fucking little baby.
Okay. Alright, that's a good one for the cops.
Do something for the cops. Because the cops gonna do anything. The cops will literally do anything.
What are you doing? I'm just gonna go in here.
Oh, like what you did with me? From how you stood in my doorway and you
Okay,
sit
so
there and
now
yelled at
I'm
me?
gonna just slowly push the door closed, and if your foot is in the way, I will push your foot out of the way.
Go ahead, break my fucking foot. I'm gonna break your foot.
Don't
touch me.
I'm gonna gently
Don't
push
touch
you
me.
in that general
Don't
direction.
touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
You just punched me. You're calling my mom? Go ahead, call her. She knows you're fucking psychotic. Holy, you just punched me in the fucking neck. Holy shit, please call the cops.
Que no sirves para nada, José, de verdad, fue una desgracia juntarme contigo. Todas mis amigas, sus maridos, les compran lo que quieren, las complacen en todo. ¿Y tú qué? Tú ni para eso puedes. No, no me digas nada. ¿Para qué te tengo aquí si no puedes darme lo que necesito?
आगे 16 घंटा घर में दीजिएगा 72 घंटा रेल को दीजिएगा है ना हाँ पूरा दिन का घर का काम हम ही करते रहे बोलिए 72 घंटा के बाद आ रहे हैं
Motherfucker, I hate this mother.
No, Sam, that's not how we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Go, Rita! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Rita! That's how it's done. Yeah! Okay, calm down.
We come in the name of the source. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We flipping niggas out the Porsche. Niggas in Paris. I'm talking about the Ye and J version. Boss OG.
Men don't shut down from communication because they hate it. They shut down from communication because it slowly turns into pressure. And over time, that pressure doesn't feel like love. It feels like an emotional debt. Today, we're going to be talking about constant complaints, what people actually call nagging, and how it affects men psychologically. We're not talking from an angry perspective today. We're not talking from a blame perspective, but we're talking from a human one. And because men start to emotionally withdraw, the question is always, why didn't he speak up? What we don't ask is what happens, right? What happens when speaking up changes nothing? If you stick with me to the end of the video, you will understand why so many men check out emotionally, psychologically first before they physically check out of a relationship. Let's get into it.
Y'all don't deal with women and how they nag because y'all like men, but it is exhausting. It's emotionally exhausting dealing with a woman who's highly neurotic, highly disagreeable. Everything bothers her. Nothing is ever good enough. She has a problem with every minuscule thing that pops up, and then she just exaggerates problems and issues to the point to where the only thing you want to do is get away from her. And that is a very real thing that a lot of men experience. I've dealt with it, and as I said, it's not intuitive when you deal with a woman after you've dealt with a woman like that and you move on to another woman. It's just heuristics. You already know, I've seen this before, I've seen this story before. This woman is going to be a headache, and that's essentially what we try to get away from. These women are migraines, and they create a lot of issues over the simplest things. You can't even communicate effectively with them because they're not willing to listen, they're not willing to understand, and they don't see the flaws in the things that they do wrong, especially when it comes to how they project.
You nag, you criticize, and let's talk about nagging. Nagging means you just keep saying the same thing over and over in a whining type of voice or attitude. When are you going to do that? When are you going to do that? You never take me out. You never do this. You never do that. That's what nagging is. It's a form of criticism, bitching, whining, and complaining. And that's not going to get a man to like you. He's going to then meet a woman who looks at him, smiles, bats her eyelashes, and say, "Oh, you're charming." And then the guy says, "To hell with my wife at home. I'm taking this girl out for a drink. She thinks I'm charming. My wife thinks I'm a clod. My wife thinks I'm an idiot. My wife thinks I'm stupid. This woman just told me she thinks I'm charming. I'm going out with her because I love that." So ladies, you have all the power in the relationship.
What did I say? Go ahead and quote me. Go ahead and quote me, because you make shit up and you just think like it's gonna stand. You've never had a strong woman challenge your bullshit assertions. Do you care about the children or not? Because you're making this about like the poor husband, the poor ex-husband who doesn't want to pay the child support. So to tell a single mother who decided to stay home and raise her children instead of work that she doesn't deserve a penny to raise her kids after a divorce is the most privileged piece of shit thing to say.
This is the type of nagging that drives men to suicide.
Good.
What we're gonna do? We've never ever been able to ever make ends meet, have we? It's all your damn fault for not earning enough anyway.
Oh, don't start.
Don't you threaten me, you weak, cowering little man. I've given you the best years of my life. You've got no drive, no ambition. That's your trouble.
Right, this is a hold-up. Get back. Come. Anybody moves, she gets it.
From a psychological standpoint, what people casually call nagging is not really about repetition. It's about persistent negative communication. So there's a difference between communication and negative communication, especially when one person keeps demanding change and the other feels like they can never meet the standard. Psychologists call this the demand withdrawal pattern. One partner pushes with complaints or criticism while the other slowly pulls away emotionally. And research also shows that this pattern increases stress, it lowers relationship satisfaction, and makes real problem solving harder, not easier. Frequent complaints don't motivate men to do better. Rather, it triggers their stress response. This is not just emotional, right? It's a chronic exposure to negative interaction keeps the body's stress system activated. Your cortisol levels are stay elevated. The nervous system stays on edge. The most important part of all of this explanation is that men are generally socialized to internalize their stress rather than verbalize it. But women, we talk. So you have this person you're talking to, you have a friend you're talking to. That is how we relieve ourselves of stress. Men don't talk for the most part. They internalize whatever they are going through. So if a man is with a woman that nags a lot or complains a lot, instead of arguing back, many men cope by just shutting down emotionally. When men withdraw, it is often not because they don't care. It's because psychologically, continued engagement feels like losing the battle. So when people hear the word nagging, they imagine a stereotype, loud, petty, irrational. But psychologically, nagging is not about volume. It's about repetition without resolution. When a man hears the same dissatisfaction over and over again, even when he's trying, his nervous system stops hearing it as feedback. He starts hearing it as criticism. He starts hearing it he starts interpreting it as a fight or flight situation for him. And rather than fight with a woman, he would rather flee. So he starts hearing it as a threat. And the male response to ongoing emotional threat is not usually anger, it's withdrawal. Most women don't get this. Unfortunately, a lot of women have been raised not to have these qualities. So rather than have a one-on-one communication with your man in a very soft tone, we tend to want to go on and on and on and on, loud voice. Black women are really they do this. I'm a black woman, so I know what I'm saying. Black women tend to be too loud. We're like just yapping and yapping and yapping, because this is how we talk with our girls. This is how we talk with fellow women. This is how we talk to our children. And the aim is to drive the message in, I'm trying to make my point here. You need to listen and do this and do that. It doesn't work for men, right? When you're like that with your man, you are nagging, you are driving him mad. You're really driving him crazy. And men don't react positively to that at all. They don't. He would be quiet, like silent, and he's internalizing a lot of things, and he's thinking, I either fight or I fly. And he picks flight, right? He just withdraws. He withdraws. The language is really not hard to understand. The blueprint in dealing with men is not hard to understand at all. It's really not hard. A lot of women miss it. Modern women today have not been raised properly. I can say that with a full, like we say in my parlance, with full chest. They've not been raised to have certain qualities, feminine qualities, qualities that make you a woman, that makes you feminine. They grow up to be masculine. They exude this masculine energy, and it doesn't work for men. Men have not changed. Women have changed a lot, but men have not really changed. And men are finding this very difficult to navigate. So rather than deal with a situation like that with a woman, he would just withdraw. Men are quietly walking away from relationship these days. Men are opting out. They're saying, no, we're not doing this anymore. For so many reasons. And one of them is this nagging. So even in marriages, even in what's the word? Even in relationships, right? When you see a man go through all of this, it's just like the clip I played, the other time, where even though it's funny, the thief, the armed robbers said, they took the wife as as hostage, and if you move, we shoot. This man's had to move, In as much as it's hilarious, it drives home the message. A lot of men are in this situation. They can't walk out of the marriage, but they are just looking for a way to shut this woman up. And it's really sad. It's sad. It's really sad. It's a sad situation we found ourselves. Let's go through some more clips.
You think it's a good idea to start doing this shit?
Well, I didn't do this shit. You started talking to me weird.
Modern Life Dating just tipped $5. Hey, Violet, shut up. Shut up, Violet, shut up, Violet, shut up, Violet. Dot, shut up, Violet, shut up, Violet, shut up, Violet. Dot, shut up, Violet, shut up, Violet, shut up.
Yeah, because I'm not interested in you constantly projecting the disrespect that you're doing onto me, acting like I'm doing it. You started. The whole time, I'm just trying to go out. I'm trying to...
See, it's like a need to be right. What if he says you're right? Will she stop? This is why men don't want to get married. This is worse. Imagine. These women are worse than being poor. I don't know. You guys tell me. Would you prefer poverty or that woman in your house every day?
Hi, guys. So today, a marriage was pronounced dead. Okay, a marriage was given a decent burial today. Guess what killed the marriage? Constant nagging. I never thought that could stand on its own to form a ground under Section 15 sub C of the Matrimonial Causes Act, which is that the respondent has behaved in such a way that the petitioner is not reasonably expected to continue to live with the respondent. So this man filed for divorce because of constant nagging. The wife is always nagging. She nags to the extent that it started affecting his health. And the court asserted that is actually a fact that could constitute a ground that marriage has broken down irretrievably. So please, My girl, tone it down. Your husband could be filing for divorce because you're always nagging.
There you have it. So a man can actually file for divorce because of constant nagging from his wife. There you have it. So let me pause here for a moment, because if this feels familiar to you, you are not broken, right? You are responding normally to prolonged emotional strain. Yeah. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and comment. I want to hear from you in the comment section.
Socrates, the great Greek philosopher, was known for his wisdom in public, but his private life told a different story. His wife Xanthippe was famous for her sharp tongue and fiery temper, so fierce, in fact, that many believed she was the reason Socrates spent most of his days in the city squares and gymnasia thinking, debating, and teaching. One day, Socrates brought a young man named Euthydemus home. "Xanthippe exploded!" she shouted. She insulted them. Then she flipped the table. Euthydemus, furious, stood up to leave. Socrates calmly said, "Didn't a bird fly into your house yesterday and do the same thing?" We weren't upset then. Later, Xanthippe mocked him again and poured water over his head. Socrates simply smiled and said, "Didn't I tell you she would thunder and then it would rain?" When Alcibiades complained that her behavior was unbearable, Socrates replied, "I'm used to it, like listening to a constant machine." Alcibiades protested, "But geese at least give eggs and chicks." Socrates answered, "And Xanthippe gave me children, once in the marketplace. She even tore the cloak off his back." His friends urged him to fight back. Socrates laughed and said, "Why? So you can cheer like it's a sport well done." Socrates, "Well struck, Xanthippe." He later explained it this way: "Horsemen value strong-willed horses. If you can master one, riding the rest becomes easy." And so, Socrates said, "By living with Xanthippe, I've learned to endure the rest of humanity." When asked why he didn't send her away, he answered quietly, "Because tolerating her at home trains me to bear the insults and injustices of the world with a lighter heart."
Okay, so this dynamic is not new. What we're talking about today is really not new. It's something that's always been happening over time. And so that even in ancient history, we see men describing something familiar. You know, it's not physical abuse, it's not chaos, it is a relentless verbal pressure. So in our story, Socrates famously, spoke about his wife, Xanthippe, not as a villain, but as a constant force he had to endure. How can you be trying every day to endure a constant force in the next person to you, who is your partner? It must have been really difficult for Socrates, So, what's interesting is not the insult or the drama, is how Socrates described adapting to it. He didn't say it made him happier. He didn't say it made him, he said it made him tolerant. And tolerance is not intimacy. That's what we need to understand. That's what women need to understand. When a man tolerates you, it's not intimacy. It's not love. It's tolerating you. A lot of men are tolerating their wives in marriages today. A lot of men are tolerating their wives, their partners, their girlfriends. Tolerating is tolerance. It's not intimacy. It kills intimacy. It kills bonding. It kills the essence of a relationship, right? Tolerance is basically survival. If you have to be surviving your partner on a day-to-day basis, then I don't know what you people are doing. But that's the situation. Sadly, that is what is happening today. Yeah, we have women tolerating their men, but on a scale, like, if we have to look at the statistics, a lot of men tolerate women. Especially these modern times. Gone are the days when women used to be really, level-headed. But with what we have out there, a lot of women are, they have to show that they are masculine. I can talk, I can do this, I'm equal. All this equality, inclusion, diversity, feminism, and all of that, stuff has made women just gone down the rabbit hole with no way out. It's a one way. You just go deep down, down, down. There's no reverse. There's no turn around. The moment you start going, you put your head in the hole as a woman into that rabbit hole. You keep on going until doom, destruction is waiting for you there. Why? We need men. Women need men. We like it or yes, we cannot do without men. They are the ones who hold the society. They are the ones who made our society. They created it. They are holding it. They are maintaining it. We couldn't do anything on our own. Never. And the men are only asking one simple thing. Be feminine, right? Give me peace. That's all men want. They don't want the drama. So this channel I speak about, it's called Shattered Families, and I speak about the factors that breaks our families, the things that break our families, the things happening in our modern society today, the causes of broken family, especially in the Black community. We're trying to build each person, right? Build each individual, especially women, and each family one at a time. And how can we do that? How can we achieve that? If we don't talk about the ills in our society as regards men-women relationship, how do we deal with it?
In medieval Europe, especially in England and Scotland during the 16th and 17th centuries, there was a deep fear of disorder. Not crime, not violence, but women who spoke too much. They were called scolds. A scold, according to historical records, was a woman accused of constant complaining, gossiping, arguing with neighbors, defying her husband, or challenging church authority. In tightly controlled communities, these women were seen as a threat not because of what they did, but because of what they said. And for that, society had a punishment. It was called the scold's bridle. The device was made of iron, shaped like a cage for the head. Once locked in place, it prevented the wearer from speaking or eating. Its purpose was simple: silence. The bridle first appeared in Scotland in the late 1500s, originally used on women accused of witchcraft. Over time, it spread to England and became a tool used against so-called troublesome women, those who argued, complained, or embarrassed their husbands publicly. This was not done in private. In many towns, women wearing the bridle were paraded through the streets, sometimes by officials, sometimes by their own husbands. The humiliation was the point. Public punishment was meant to send a message. Obedience was expected, and speech had limits. Other punishments existed too. The ducking stool was common, where the accused was lowered into water repeatedly while crowds watched. Different towns had different methods, but the goal was always the same: control behavior through shame. Women punished in this way were sometimes displayed at town crosses or toll booths, standing silently as living warnings to others. These practices were not about justice. They were about enforcing social order. Today, the scoldess bridle sits behind museum glass, a relic of a time when speaking out could cost you your dignity, your freedom, and your voice. It stands as a reminder of how fear, power, and silence once shaped women in society at large, and why history must be remembered, not repeated.
So, like I said earlier, history has always struggled with how to deal with speech that makes people uncomfortable. In medieval Europe, women have always been women. That's just the plain truth. I tell men that a woman is a woman, right? Don't ever feel like, oh, I got the best woman, oh, she's this. She is a woman. It's the same software that is running in every one of us, right? It's how you control your woman. Not really like controlling like a dog or a pet or a puppet, no, but how do you manage her? And to manage a woman, you really need to understand what a woman is, right? You really need to understand how our thinking works, what goes on in our mind. A man needs to understand that. When you have the manual of how a woman operates, trust me, you are able to deal with any kind of woman in a way that, you know, you're protecting, you get to protect yourself, but then you have a harmonious relationship with this woman or women. But you really need to have the manual. Yeah. So in medieval Europe, societies then, you know, they had more form of control over women because, like I said, women have not changed. A woman is still a woman. So the scold bridle was not just about justice, it was about control. And it's so sad to use the word control over women, but that's just it. You just got to keep her in check. You just have to keep her in check. You can't afford to, you know, let a woman just, yeah, she's her own individual. She's who she is. But we are like children. It's like, when you leave your children to just run their own show, it's not good for them. And so you have to control them. Basically, you have to guide them, right? Help them make the right decisions and all of that, you know, because children they don't have this form of level of control over the things they do. And the same thing applies to a woman. You can't afford to let a woman lose. No, you couldn't do that. It's coming to bite you. So, coming back to this cold bridle, it was, you know, women that yap too much. Yeah, women like Xanthippe, Socrates' wife, or the women in the clips that I've shown, the way the society then had to control these women was to wear them a bridle. It's so sad, right? But that bridle not only, you know, I don't know what the words to use, but it actually put the woman, controlled her in a way, and it shamed her, because the truth is, when a woman does not have shame, it's a really bad thing. When I say shame, I don't know, maybe the Africans watching and the Jamaicans and the, you know, African American, my black people, you understand when they say somebody does not have shame. Shame keeps you in check, right? You don't want to be shameless, basically. So for a woman, if a woman does not have shame, she's just out of control. So the scold bridle kept women under check, basically. Women who's gone overboard, you know, so they wear them this like a horse bridle or whatever, and they make them stand at the street or they take a walk with their husbands and everybody can identify. It's like a tag, and no woman wants that. So they like forcefully put that shame on them. They forcefully break them, basically, like tame them like wild animals. Why should it be so? Like, why should a woman put herself in a situation where she is being tamed or broken down or worn a bridle? Because you're out of control. You know, so today, men are not silencing with iron anymore, right? No. Because the system even right now, the system we have running encourages women to be out of control. And so the power, somehow, men can't even control women with iron anymore, or with the bridle, or with the docking stool. Nothing. The only way they can just break free of all of this is silence. Men going their own way. And these women are just left alone. We have single and childless women, single by choice women, you know, women who've hit the wall. It's really, really sad. So men are just like, I'm not doing anymore, you know. They're just walking away. Yeah, literally walking away.
You would be surprised how powerful women nagging is. So first thing that happens is there's a problem. When I see all these crazy inventions that are being made, I just know that in a way, if it's useless, women's nagging is generally behind it. I'll give you an example. Women kept complaining about chores, right? So what happened was there's a problem. Women don't want to do chores, okay? Women started nagging, guilting, manipulating men into solving this problem. So first the problem, I don't want to sweep the floors. I don't. It's too hard. And men, they think, what do I get out of this constantly? And they keep thinking, well, I want to have sex. I do want to keep banging this broad. I want to keep going with that. I want to keep, if they have kids, they'll think I want to keep the kids. And, the nagging and the guilting, it's just never going to stop. It's never going to end. Then they keep going. And then men start fixing the problem. So men, they start getting together and saying, look we all are having these nagging wives complaining about chores. What can we make? She wants to work, so I guess we're going to make up a job for her to leave me alone. Can someone put assistants in their companies to get rid of my wife for the day? She's just annoying me too much. So the men get together and they fix the problem. They invent a solution and they hope to stop the nagging. If women were logical creatures like men, maybe it would stop, right? Maybe the complaining, the nagging, it would end, you would think. But then women find a new problem and the cycle continues.
So, all right, fellas, we have come to the end of the video for today. And in closing, I'd like to say that men don't wake up one day and decide to shut down. No, it's a slow process. It's a quiet one. And by the time it is visible, it is usually too late, like the time that we are in right now. This video is about understanding men, basically, because relationships don't fail when people argue. They fail when one person stops feeling safe enough to speak, which is in most cases is the man. So if you're a man watching this and it resonates, know this: your silence did not come from nowhere, right? And if you're a woman watching this, understand this dynamic. Understand that this might be the difference between connection and distance. Understand that. Do a rain check on yourself. Do a self-analysis. And because a lot of women, say, oh, we were good. I was in a relationship with him. And he just ghosted me, or he's walking away, or whatever, or, he's breaking up with me. Do a self-check of yourself. Yeah, you should do that. No man walks away from a good woman. Never. Awareness doesn't fix everything. So, awareness doesn't fix everything. When you're aware of something, it doesn't mean it's fixed the situation. It is just the first step away from repeating the same damage, and quietly. I want my women out there to be aware of this message and take steps to fix it. And men, I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching and staying to the end of the video. And I will see you in the next one.